I really thought that like working from home would give me the opportunity to like kind of simultaneously work on podcast things and other,
Mm-hmm.
whatever projects, and it does not. Because from the hours of 9:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., I am chained to that fucking chair and there is just always shit that has to get done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's been frustrating me, but and I was like beating myself up for like a long time over it because I'm like I can't do both, and I was really beating myself up, and I was like, look, I can't keep doing this to myself. So I've kind of rebooted and approached the way that I kind of do like things after I'm done work, because sometimes I'm just
Mm-hmm.
so fucking burnt I can't even think about anything, and I don't know, I'm just trying not to beat myself up as much. That's what I've been doing
Yeah.
lately.
Yeah. Don't beat yourself up, bud.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm back. Yeah, no,
Greetings.
we went to he read this book in like record time. What was it? I didn't do the thing today.
Yeah, that was the name of the book. Yeah, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of changed. I don't want to say like a book changed my life, but like
Ah,
it changed my perspective a little bit, cuz the chick who
Which
wrote
one?
this book, the chick who wrote this
Are we
book,
recording already? By the way.
yeah, I just turned it on as soon as I popped
Yeah.
in. But yeah, the chick who wrote this book, she is a lot like me. Like she's the person who's like, I have so many creative things and I have so many creative projects that I want to do, and I want to do all these
Mm-hmm.
things. But I don't have like a succinct way to organize them, and so she spent a lot of time like interviewing people about like their organization habits and how did they become so
Mm-hmm.
successful and stuff like that. And really what she unpacked is that there is no one productivity like key that will keep you on track. Like it doesn't matter how much you bullet journal or organize or plan or this or that. It's just that sometimes the days unravel the way that they do,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't schedule every minute of your life. And I have been trying to do that for a long time now. And after reading that book, I realized I was like, I just have to just let certain things happen as they happen. And I've actually been getting a lot more done, weirdly
Hmm.
enough, by taking a step back.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Because like it's a lot of like it's like a behind the scenes thing. Because like when like if I don't get like a post out or like I feel really guilty a lot of the times with the podcast. Like if
Mm-hmm.
we go a couple days in the Discord where like no one's talking, and I start to get like all freaked out. I'm like, oh my god, everything's turning to shit, and I'm not doing enough. And I just realized I just gotta let things be the way that they are.
Yeah, and also you're doing plenty.
I know, and yet it feels like I'm not.
That's capitalism, though. Like we live in
Yeah,
such an age
yeah.
of like hustle culture and like grind, like rise and grind, as they say. Like it's fucking stupid. I don't even support it.
Yeah, or the fact that like, your hobbies are, you shouldn't pursue a hobby unless you can do like a side hustle with it or monetize on it in
Mm-hmm.
some capacity. And I struggle with that like just with this podcast, it started as this passion project and it still is a passion project. It's just sometimes the passion I get so blinded by the like, well, it should be bigger, it should be more
Mm-hmm.
successful, it should make this amount of money, blah blah blah. And I'm like, who instilled those parameters? Like, who made those rules?
Capitalism.
Exactly. Fucking
Honestly,
garbage.
I'm kind of glad that we're not super duper huge. Like, I don't have to worry about like people meeting me at work and being like, "Oh, I know you. I listen to your podcast," and like
True.
have to deal with any of my hot takes coming up at work because I'm pretty anti-corporate, right? So
Right, yeah. I think about that
yeah.
too. Like, like I do like the underground kind of feeling, and honestly, like for a witchcraft podcast, for any occult witchcraft podcast to suddenly become like, a
We ain't achieving
mainstream,
PewDiePie numbers here.
right?
I mean, though, like, let's be clear, the occult is starting to become fucking mainstream. Like,
It
I am
is.
really good at predicting trends, and I can tell y'all this a little bit. I didn't get this information from insider information in film. I have to just like state that ahead of time now because like I am in the industry. I got
Disclaimer.
this news from This Week in Video Games on YouTube. If you want to go look up his most recent video, they're doing a God of War TV show now. That's coming through the pipeline, right? And I told
Oh.
people ages ago that Hollywood is pretty much going to start cycling every good video game IP into a film and television because like
Mm-hmm.
they've tapped out a lot of
Books.
books already, and video games are constantly being created, right? And there's so many unique good stories, and like the people who are the producers don't need to take the risk to spend millions of dollars to get a brand new IP off the ground. All
Mm-hmm.
they have to do is work with the company that owns it, right? So like granted it's going to be like I don't really understand how the inside machinations of the film industry work with like producers and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but I do know that Sony has the rights to God of War, and they also are interested, it seems, in pursuing a lot of their current IPs and translating them into film and movies, right? Or film and television, because you have God of War now, and we also have The Last of Us, which is I think it's finishing up its production. I don't know at all. I don't even know anybody who works on that show, but it's been worked on for a little bit. So I think just by my guesstimation, it's probably coming to close within the next half year, right? Although that's just a guess. I have no fucking clue.
Yeah, there's also like The
Right?
Witcher too. Like I
Mhm.
haven't watched that one
Mhm.
yet.
And like with all of these things, we also know that video games have a lot of occult content in it, right? And there's rumblings about a Destiny TV show now with like the
Really?
purchase of Bungie. Oh yeah, because it
Yeah.
works so well for a TV show. Like if you were to take the Iron Banner or the Iron Lords section of Destiny, right? Like right after the Dark Age, nobody knows jack shit. You have the first few risen. It's really easy to do people in armor fighting in like medieval dark age earth. It's a lot easier than like I don't know, doing what Destiny does in game, like
Space
going into
guns.
throne worlds. And well, you've seen it, like when you go
Yeah.
into like Savathun's throne world, or you're like doing all the crazy bonkers shit. That would be a little
I
hard to do on the
imagine
show.
like a Destiny TV show would be a lot of green screen.
I think, and this is just from like a lot of people who are fans of the Destiny IP, it would really do well to have it as an anime.
Oh.
Destiny would be an amazing anime, in my
Oh.
personal opinion. But why I was segueing with that is
Mm.
because the other trend I see happening that is not slowing down is the mainstream exposure of straight up occult like shit and straight up witchcraft, you know? Like not even filtering it out anymore,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
Like
like
it's just mask off at this point.
yeah, like and like some of the things that I've seen kind of trickling over into like more mainstream kind of things is like we go to this like discount store like Five Below it's called, and
Mhm.
there it's just a store full of cheap stuff. But they have this little like what do they call it? Like a wellness meditation section or something like that. And they have like incense.
Cultural appropriation, the end cap.
Yeah. Yeah, some of it is like some of it's, but like it's kind of all just like hard, probably not ethically sourced bullshit. But you have your incense sticks, and they have like a package of chakra stones that you can buy for like $5, and then like I look at that, and then sometimes they have books too. I've actually snagged a couple books from there that I kind of just wanted to look through and kind of see if like I don't know, like personally vet them, I guess, like I'm some fucking authority. Um
Like the most recent title, Mercury Retrograde and How the Stars Can Affect You.
yes, we picked that one up. So we'll have to read through that one.
Very
But
elucidating.
because basically what I try and like keep in mind is like through this sort of like pop culture, I guess, I don't know, blending of the occult or new age concepts, whatever you want to call it, into pop culture, it's like this is going to be some kid's first introduction to this, and this is going to be the thing that's going to set them on their path wherever that may lead. And so I just sometimes I like to check out the books and just be like, okay, the information is not the best. It's maybe not 100%, but it's a good foundation. It's a good start. It's decent. It'll lead them in the right direction. And I've been considering I should probably just like print out some like witches betwixt like little like business cards and just like leave one at the store like next to that little section.
So yeah, that's we had an experience. We went to a Barnes and Nobles in Cherry Hill. We went to Monster Mini Golf. It was a wonderful time, overcrowded.
Little date day.
But the Barnes and Nobles, that was the best part because we're just walking in this very nice bookstore and we can't find like the occult section. Like we searched the store for like 5-10 minutes and we couldn't find it. And eventually we wandered over and I saw this very obviously queer looking employee and I was like, I bet you she knows where it is. And as I was walking over to her, I look left and surprised, there's the occult section. She turns around. It was fantastic. It was just like I was like, oh, hello. And she turns around and actually like introduces. She's like, oh, did you find everything? And I was like, yeah, we did. Struck up a conversation with her. Checked out a couple books with her. She recommended a book to us that we already owned. And that's when we let like, well, we have a queer witchcraft podcast and we're also the president and treasurer of Philadelphia Pagan Pride. And she was like, I have to write down your info. And this was like the general manager of the Barnes and Nobles. And she's like, you have to go over to the cafe and talk to the girl with the red head there. She's a witch too. And I was like, amazing. Like, this is just everything.
The best was when like she was like she pulled out her phone to she pulled out her phone and instantly opened up Spotify, which was hilarious to me because I know we'll pop up on Spotify. And she was like, all right, what's it called? And I was like telling her, I was like, I don't want to get you in trouble. She goes, I'm the manager. Like, that was probably the best part of that whole experience. She was like, I'm the manager.
Wonderful. Oh my God, I was losing my shit.
It's good to see witches
awesome,
in positions of power.
Yeah, and like I get to the point where I just have like conversations in public about magical techniques now. You know, like I don't even like look to see who's around me. I just don't give a fuck. Like you can hear it. Sorry.
No, I'm laughing because God, just same girl. Like, what's up? Like, no, I get it. It's just like once you stop caring about what literally anybody else thinks, like that's when you can actually start living.
I mean, also like you can also care about what people think too and do
Obvious,
that stuff, right? Like because like
of course.
I actually want them to hear me, right? Like whether they go negative in their reaction or whether it's positive, it's a net gain for me at least. They're not going to do anything to me. It's not like they're going to pull a gun out of their like coat and shoot me for talking about fucking witchcraft in public. I don't live in like deep south counties where that kind of shit might happen, right?
You don't have to live in the deep south.
Nah, in Philly, if you're talking about witchcraft, sorry to cut you off, Sophia, but to be fair, in Philly, you would not be shot for witchcraft. People would just be like, "I'll get out of here with that bullshit." Like they would just be like, "Nah, go."
They just walk away.
Yeah.
I mean, they're free to, but I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to somebody else about it, right?
True.
If they want to fucking ask, like, say things to me, I'll be like, did anybody fucking ask you? Like, no, get out of here. So, I don't know. I'm not the type of person to proselytize. I don't like to push my beliefs on other people by any measure, but at the same time, like, I will happily talk about it in public like it is common day occurrence.
It's kind of funny. It's like I'm gonna make a generalization, but it's true. No, all witches and like occultists, they're all just looking for a reason to talk about magic. They're like at all times, we're all just like, give me an opportunity. Okay, let's talk about this. Oh yeah, oh you mentioned that. So
those of us who aren't role playing yet.
yeah.
Hello.
Those of us who are actually like out here living it.
Mm-hmm. Well, when I say role playing it, because like there's a lot of people who do the whole like mage drama. You know what I mean? Like they start
Oh god.
they read their first witchcraft book, right? And then they go to like a haunted site or whatever they think. And they're like, oh, this thing followed me home. And there's like such a classic thing with like new mages getting into shit that we even like coined a term for it, like new mage drama or like new mage
Shit.
war, you know,
Well,
because it happens so consistently, right? It's like it's also kind of like part of I'm gonna sound a little too intellectual here for a second. Hegelian dialectics, right? Which is like the self and the other and how you use the other to inform the self, right? Even though
Okay.
he often does it with master-slave dynamics of how the slave eventually overcomes the master because the master grows weak through some servitude to the slave. And that's probably a little bit of a misrepresentation of Hegel, but like whatever, I'm not here to give a fucking treatise on it,
We'll
right?
drop a Wikipedia link in the show notes or something.
Sorry. But basically when you're trying to get an idea of who you are, you see young people do this all the time. They find something that they view as ideologically opposed to who they are, and they seek to define themselves by externally clashing against that which they perceive as different.
Hmm.
Make
Mhm.
sense? It's tied into Hegelian dialectics again. Yeah. He's a white boy from Europe who wrote some pretty smart stuff that a lot of people still talk about sometimes.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. Now, all I've been doing, like today, I was today I was researching Purim, from the Judaistic faith, and like a week ago, I was reading a book on Buddhism, and I've used this time off. I guess it's crazy to say I've been out of work for 4 months. I can't. I'm like, ugh. I've never been, actually 3. Sorry, only 3, not 4. But it feels weird to say that. I do have an interview tomorrow. Yay me. At some bullshit, not not no, a recruiting company up in King of Prussia. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, but one of
Not
our
like I'm
mutual
ready to
friends.
rejoin. Yeah.
I was saying, like, one of our mutual friends works there, so it'll be cool if you can land something there.
Exactly.
And you got a buddy.
I'll have a friend.
I gotta jump in here. I tried to find show notes for Hegelian dialectics, and there's so much bullshit about it. I got like the Plato's website, which is probably the most legit one out of all of this, right? And
What about, like,
Wikipedia was just like
Wikipedia?
Wikipedia specifically just talked about dialectics, not Hegelian, although I'm sure it's a footnote within that. But then like right below those two, it goes to like Christian Observer, what is the Hegelian dialectic? And it's like goes off on like a propaganda piece about how it's radical, and then like right
Well,
after that, the way of life, Hegelian dialectics, the devil's winning tool. Looks like we got new tools on our side, guys.
fucking shit. Drop all those links in the show notes thing, and I'll put them all in there, and y'all can come up with your own conclusions for how you feel about it.
And then this one here is like one of those old Angel Press websites. It's like crossroad.to.
Oh,
my god.
boy.
Fuck. This
Them
is gonna be fun.
throwbacks.
Y'all gotta go down your own improper Hegelian dialectic learning rabbit hole. And I'll try and find you a proper educational video on it that actually explains it correctly and put that in there in the show notes for anybody who's interested.
You've been saying dialectics, and I've been thinking of Dianetics, and I know, and that's linked to the Scientology church, and which made me go on this other tangent in my head. We went to the tattoo convention. There was a tattoo convention here in Philly, like toward the end of February, so like 2-3 weeks ago, and the line to get in the convention was like wrapped around several blocks. So while we were standing in this line, I realized I didn't know that Philly had a chapter of the Church of Scientology. Like, we were just like, all of a sudden I was just standing in line, and then I look across the street, and it's just like Church of Scientology, Philadelphia chapter, and then it was like the something Hubbard Dianetics Association. And now I can't remember for the life of me.
Being uploaded to the social media.
Yeah, I took a picture of it because I was like, look at this. And I can't for the life of me. I never looked up what Dianetics is. I can't. What is it?
The old Elrond.
The set of ideas and practices regarding the metaphysical relationship between the mind and body created. Oh, okay, so that's his. I don't know, theory of how everything works. Okay, cool. That'll be a fucking deep dive one day.
Oh boy. I have to do some research.
Right.
You got way more than you bargained for in this episode, y'all.
Welcome to Smoke Shush, where we literally talk about whatever pops first into our neurodivergent high brains. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
I think I finally got you the last good one here. Then we can move on.
Perfect.
I was
Yeah,
wondering what
I
was
got a tooth
beeping.
ripped out of my head today.
That's
You said
It's funny you were mentioning implant. I got a crown. I got a zirconium crown in my mouth now. It's so weird. I had to-
Neato.
Yeah. Paid $500 for that with insurance.
boo.
That's not bad.
Yeah, honestly, it really wasn't. It went on a credit card and the credit card's already paid off. Bless unemployment.
God.
Now you sound
It has
pretty
been a
great.
fucking.
I was saying,
It has been a fucking. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying, Sophia, you sound pretty great for having a tooth ripped out of your head earlier, because you sounded
mean-
way different in the other tooth episode that we did.
Okay, so there's several factors to this. First off, the one that was removed in the other episode was an upper left tooth,
Mm.
which when you have an upper tooth, you have to keep constant pressure
Mhm.
on the gauze upwards to keep it from falling down out of the mouth. So I had to like clench my jaw in a way that positioned the gauze upwards.
Mm.
Whereas with this one, it's lower right. So all I have to do is like let it sit in that little flap there. And I've like already had the wisdom tooth behind it pulled because that was the one that damaged this tooth when that
Mm.
wisdom tooth came in sideways and smashed directly into it, right? So like
Baby.
I'm totally fine. And like I was saying to other people, my family handles physical injuries shockingly well. Like we get our asses kicked and then just get back up.
Some people can just, some people just have like a higher pain tolerance.
We have pretty fucking dense bones. People consistently think I'm about 30 pounds lighter than I am. And I step on a scale and they're like, how are you 180? I'm like, I got dense bones. I like
Also
literally,
muscle.
no joke, had a ex-girlfriend roll over in bed at night, smoke me in the head with her elbow, and she hairline fractured it. Like,
Damn.
nothing you could go to a hospital for, but she was in searing pain, right? And I was totally fine. Like, and she fucking elbowed me, and I was like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" And she's like, "I elbowed you," like, crying. And I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry." Yeah,
That's great
Oh,
when you
I'm-
roll into someone and or someone rolls into you, but they injure themselves. That used to be like my
Yeah.
mom, like growing up, she would like, kind of like when I was a teenager, she'd like punch me on the arm or something like that, and she'd be like, "Ow."
yeah. It's like that Death Clock song, "Face Fisted." Stab me, you're bleeding.
Yeah.
Punch me, your hand's broken. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like that. You could definitely break your hand on my head, that's for sure.
That's hot.
God. I also drive my dentist crazy because I'm not supposed to smoke weed with a tooth pulled. I'm always like, they look at me in the eye, I'm like, I'm gonna. And they're like, you're not supposed to. I'm like, I know. And they're like, but dry socket. And I'm like, yep, dry socket occurs when the blood clot is dislodged via suction from the socket and it causes mass. And I just like exactly described what it was. And I'm like, okay, fine. Like,
What's up? I didn't smoke. Still got dry socket. It happens. Boo.
yeah, it does to some people. I clot really well, so typically I don't. And yeah, so I'm kind of a piece of shit. Hey.
Oh my god. I just tried to eat one of these Wendy's fries and I think I broke another tooth.
Are you
Jesus
serious?
Really?
Christ. They're like hard as a rock.
Oh. Mm.
I like let them sit for 30 minutes. Rock potatoes.
Rock potatoes.
Rock potatoes.
But yeah, the world's on fire, kind of.
Yeah, the last time we recorded, so it is March 16th today, and the last time we recorded was February 9th.
Mamacita.
Right? And so much has happened. So
Like a
Corona's
lifetime
over.
ago.
The pandemic's over, guys. So
Pandemic's over. Now we're on to
yeah.
World War III.
It's not World War III.
I am curious. What is your take on everything, Sophie? Like, I will say this. Like, when I woke up, like, we all kind of woke up to the news over here. I guess on this side of the world, even though, from what I understand, like the bombing had actually started at 4 p.m. the day prior.
Our time.
Yeah, 4 p.m. like East Coast time. The day prior. But it's weird. So like, I woke up and like, I was just reading all these headlines, and I was like, almost like a state of disbelief in the sense of like, I can't fucking believe it. Like, are you fucking serious right now? Like, it was.
You want my take?
Yeah.
It's people blowing up the fucking church at King's Landing while the White Walkers are coming up to the wall and everyone's fucking busy fighting amongst themselves. The real problem is
It's an
climate
excellent
change,
analogy.
and it's gonna fucking kill us all. And people are still busy fighting over the fucking scraps of nothing that'll be left in 40 years. The world needs to collectively wake the fuck up right now. I'm not worried about World War III because we're all gonna die in 40 fucking years anyways, and I've already had to make peace with that. A lot of the boomers are really upset now because they might die from something that actually has consequence right now. So like, I'm kind of just like, welcome to the party. But honestly, it's not gonna happen that way. Like, realistically speaking, let's go back to the last Cold War. Let's go back to the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? Everything broke down. A guy was given the order to fire the nuclear missile from a submarine. He chose not to. Or the other times when the Cold War was really intense, and like there was an old radar station that the Russians were using, and it was like an atmospheric event that happened that made them think that there was 5 nuclear missiles incoming. And by all procedures and protocols, the guy who was watching it was supposed to like send up the code to do the mutually assured destruction fire, and we're all alive because he decided to say, hey, that probably looks like an error. I should stop that signal from going through. So like, traditionally, people, when given the chance to blow up the world, if it's not in the hands of like a dictator, nobody does it. You typically need like people who are really up there in the military industrial complex to be the ones pushing the buttons to make those nukes happen. And let's remember, like, what's the last active nuke use? Like fucking World War II?
Yeah, I mean, as far
80, less than 80 years ago.
yeah.
70, 77 years ago.
I don't know what would happen then, unless you're referring to Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yes.
Yeah.
But realistically speaking, nukes are a bad idea for everybody involved.
Yeah.
They're typically only even threatened as like a last resort. And realistically speaking, it's not looking good. If you think about it this way, Russia, a near peer to the United States, invades a country that they were so confident they can take. They didn't even make a war plan for. They literally
They
just
just
sent
rolled
everybody in
in.
because they expected they could just fucking take it. They believed their own propaganda. And Russian corruption ate into a lot of their military supplies. So like, their troops are fucking starving right now because of their lack of MREs and their lack of proper equipment. And they're giving them fucking gas masks from the 1960s that have fucking asbestos in them and will kill them from that and won't even properly protect them. And you could go to the store and buy a new filter for like $80. You know, like, there's just so many fucking things that it's such a colossal failure. Think about it this way. A big nation like Russia invades Ukraine, then fails, and in response, he says, what? The nuclear arsenal's on the table? Think about how absurd all of that is. Geopolitically speaking, it's a disaster. If anything, it's going to like cause a spiral in world economies through sanctions and supply chain disruptions, much similar to COVID, and that's already starting to happen. And also, It's just a geopolitical mess. Russia does not have the capability to strike back militarily speaking, like they constantly threaten themselves to that they do. The only thing they have is fucking nukes on the table, and for them to do that, they have to be willing to completely destroy the entire fucking world in the process, right? And
Yeah.
like
Yes.
if that happens, then Russia also has to deal with the fact that even if they don't destroy the rest of the world, they've become such a bully that people are going to undertake like deep fucking terrorism campaigns against them. Like if Russia starts to just level cities in Ukraine like it's planning on to now, people from Ukraine are just going to take their Russian passports that Russia distributed in Ukraine a while ago, go into Russia and start fucking shit up on like a personal level like that. And it's really shitty because the people who get involved with that is always the civilians. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
people who are going to get hurt, right? And it's the same thing as the fucking sanctions. So like the whole thing geopolitically is a fucking mess. And I'm not going to pretend like I have magic insights onto this as like an outsider. A lot of the information I'm citing here comes from a YouTube channel called Bow of the Fifth Column. For
Mm-hmm.
those of you who don't know, Bow of the Fifth Column is an ex-military special forces guy who's actually a really stellar dude who left the forces and actually he does teaching. Like he teaches kids in schools, right? And he has an educational YouTube channel, and he has been such a voice of reason for a lot of people through like the Trump era stuff because he understands how a lot of this stuff works because he's like he's been on like high speed strike teams and gun and done like yeah. So like he
Gotta be
has
careful
a
not to get arrested like Snowden. Sorry.
no, he's not giving away any insider information. In fact, he's all above the table. DOD fucking loves the guy because he contributes to national security because of the common reassurance he provides. The guy is straight up fucking president slash vice president material, and he's just a goddamn YouTuber with 700,000 subscribers. Like he's
Wow.
no joke. He's like the real fucking deal. And for anybody who doesn't know, something that's referred to by fifth column action or something that is fifth column is typically when you go into something to disassemble it from the inside. So part of the MO that Bo does is because he looks like just like a white southerner guy because he's like red haired, he has a big beard, he's super white, right? A lot of people assume him to be like a southern conservative dude, and he can give talks to Southern conservative dudes in ways that they won't hear it from other people who don't look like him. And he is implicitly aware of that. And he utilizes his position and his appearance to disassemble racist power structures from the inside of like being a white cis hetero dude. He's fucking crazy cool. Like give his YouTube channel a check out. I will like throw that in the show notes. Like but he's who I refer to in like all of these situations because he's calm, he doesn't mince words, like he knows what he's talking about. If he doesn't have a good answer to something, he just won't put a video out on it, right? He's not going to go and half bake information. So like pretty much everything I've said here is just parroting information that I pulled off of his channel, right? And
Mm-hmm.
geopolitically speaking, all of it makes sense, right? Like it's backed up by everything that I've seen in my life. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, like when I was just kind of thinking about everything. Like I am by no means some kind of military fucking expert on anything, but it doesn't even feel fair to say it's Russia. Like it's Putin. Like Putin just Putin and the people that back him because But Putin decided that he wanted to get the gang back together, or because NATO was going to be knocking on his doorsteps. Like, dude, like that's not the problem is like we're at the point I feel like in human civilization that we need to stop thinking of ourselves as independent countries and independent nations and separate people. We need to start thinking of ourselves as one fucking human race.
And one planet.
And one planet. And that monkey brain has not developed quite yet, I guess. Yeah. And all we still want to do is just throw rocks and shake sticks at each other.
I wouldn't even say that we want to do that because, like, let's be honest, most people on a world stage absolutely abhor conflicts like this and are tired of being subservient.
It's the people
to
that we
world
have
powers.
in power.
it comes down to the oligarchs, right? It's the
Yeah.
fact that we have an owner class and a business class, right? There's no war but the class war, and that's as fucking true as it's ever been, right? And it all comes down to that. It's just power and consolidation. To quote Bo the Fifth Column again, like world politics isn't about right and wrong, it's about power and nothing else.
I feel terrible because I see a lot of tweets from people, like civilians in Russia as well as Ukraine. And in Russia, I mean, they're going to start to starve too if they haven't already because of all the sanctions. They can't get stuff. Their money is not worth anything. You know, everything. And like those people, they don't deserve to go through that either. Just like the people of Ukraine don't deserve to be dying and be displaced from their homes and all this kind of stuff. It's just like, it's because one motherfucker decided, like one motherfucker with a lot of power decided that, oh, I just want to do this now. It's just so fucking frustrating to see that.
I'm gonna say something that I don't think I ever would have said 20 years ago. You ready for it?
Oh, I love those moments.
I think we need a one world government.
I do too.
And everybody's so afraid of it, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, it's the Illuminati. No, you know what? If there was an Illuminati, it would be better than this shit show.
No, because having, okay, so we're civilized now, or blah, 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 but there's still disparity between tons of different countries. Like, us being separated has not helped us as a race, as humanity, as a species. It has not helped us at all.
Everything can be traced back to Pangea and the separation of it now.
Damn
Our
you.
fucking babble, baby. Split us and scatter the languages and toss our babbling asses across the continent.
Although at the same time,
refer to
I kind of feel a little bit of a hypocrite. A little bit. I feel like a little bit of a hypocrite because I often say my catchphrase sometimes is fuck Rome, because I just trace all of my problems back to the Roman Empire. I don't know. They did a lot of shit.
Capitalism. Okay, actually, this is something I wrote a whole theory paper about and had to couch for a while because, like, it could have got me in a lot of trouble. But what we typically see as capitalism, and I might even have talked about this in the podcast before, all of it can be traced back to Rome and the illusion of separation between self and other, right?
Yep.
And like maybe not even Rome, like feudal states prior to Rome, right? Because if you look at the world, what it actually is a bunch of groups of small different clans in any area, right? Like let's say you talk about indigenous people out here, right? In like Toronto, even within the Haudenosaunee, and if you were to pick a specific group within the Haudenosaunee, even within them, they have different clan houses, right? And there's different families within those people. And when people come to make countries in the classic sense, it's done by conquest, right? You have one family that asserts itself across a lot of other ones. And that's traditionally what we saw in like certain parts of Europe and different parts of the world where these types of power structures developed, right? Not to say that it didn't develop over here, but there might have been different things. And I don't know the entire history, so I can't speak for that, right? But a lot of indigenous belief structures understand that there's no difference between us and the world, right? Like in the West, we really conceptualize our boundaries of us ending where our skin ends, you know? But like, how could you not look at trees and not understand that's your fucking lungs? You don't produce oxygen. You produce carbon dioxide, which that breathes in, which produces oxygen, which breathes back to you. You are a piece of a complex symbiote. And like, we need to understand our place in that balance. And the Western world, or at least what we view as now as capitalism, gains strength by breaking that boundary, right? When you see that tree and you know it's your lungs, you want to respect it. You're not going to cut it down unless you really need it, right? And even then, you're only going to cut it down in a certain way of respect. And there's a whole bunch of stuff around it, right? If you view that tree, that living being, as just an object, you can do whatever you want to it because you've moralized it away. And it's that idea of our boundaries of self ending where our skin does or where our borders do, and having domain over things, right? So because we view ourselves as separate from nature, we can position ourselves above it. And if you don't care about the rivers, you can poison them with your fucking wastewater, you know? All
Mm-hmm.
of the things that comes down through the ills of capitalism and Western society is completely due to us not understanding boundaries and understanding the symbiotic nature of the planet we live in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not going to be able to just magically sustain ourselves without food. We're not going to be able to just synthesize it in fucking labs. We still grow it out of the dirt, you know? We constantly deny the truths of what it means to be human and then position ourselves like we're these lords above everything else when we're just as interdependent on it as everything is, and we
Mm-hmm.
become a tumor, you know, and we can correct that within ourselves, but we choose not to. And with how capitalism is going, it doesn't even view the world as limited or destroyable. All that matters is profit.
Yep.
It will kill everything, everything, if we don't stop it. And I hate to break it to the conservatives and the fearmongers, but everybody across the world has a right to live on it, has a right to clean fucking water, has a
Mm-hmm.
right to food, has a right to medical care, and every rights that you have in your fucking nation are relevant of where they were born. Why the fuck do we treat it like we're different based off of just where we're like, well, we are different, right? But we're not like different in the way that we can survive our planet dying off. You know, it's not like
Mm-hmm.
one of us is going to be magically okay in that situation. We're all in this together, you know?
But we
So either
fail to
we like,
recognize that
hmm so
continually.
we either live together or die together, right?
Yeah.
And it sucks.
It does suck, especially when it seems that the people that have the control are so few and they don't listen, you know.
hmm
I was saying this to Rue, like I say like we have to have a lot of faith in like our younger generations, because like the people that are in power, a lot of them are old and rich and white and this and that, and they will die off and they will be replaced by younger, more diverse, different people. You know, that's just what will happen. It has to happen, because if you look at like the generational differences. But the thing is like we gotta make it there. You know, like we gotta make it to the time like we're in our 60s. We gotta make it 30, 40 fucking years so we can get those people in power and change things.
hmm
But I keep hearing
Yeah,
what you're
it's
saying
hard.
about one world government, because I remember me, like young me, I was like, nah, fuck the government. Like,
Literally, that's all we know how to say when we're younger is fuck everything. Like, no,
yeah.
fuck you and
I
fuck
also
you and
think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, you're fine.
I also think that like part of the hesitation around doing one world government is because we've seen how bad things go when there's centralized power in one set of hands, right?
Yeah.
But that just means that we don't have to build the structure that way. Like it can work any way we choose it to, right?
You know what's funny is like we never had to. I think about, like, I always think about these memes, like, you know, like humans, we could have just been like chilling, you know, like this whole time and just like, you know, hanging out, growing food, making art. We could have been doing that this whole time.
hmm
But like we purposely made things so much more miserable for ourselves. Like in trying to make life quote unquote easier or more productive. I don't know, however you would put that, but like in terms of trying to make things easier for ourselves, we just like killed ourselves mentally.
I don't even think that's it. I think we're in the exact same problem that keeps happening throughout human history, and it's just magnified because of the level of technology. Like, we are always going to advance. We're always
Right.
going to develop more things, and
It's
with
just
that
it's what we do.
development, yeah, and with that development, you gain a power, and with that power becomes responsibility, right? So, like,
So go back
it's a
to your
great big
Spider-Man
deal now.
comics.
Well, yeah, it's a great big deal now because, like, when somebody in power is unjust, you can't just rally outside their castle and siege it for 7 days and cut off all food sources and fucking make sure he knows what's going on, right? There's so much layers of institutional power through hierarchy structures and technology that, like, it feels nebulous and hard to fight back against, right?
You mentioned like, like sieging just now, like you can't just like siege someone's castle. But I was thinking about this kind of brings me back to what I was thinking about earlier about Russia, is that like all the sanctions that people are putting on the country. And like I feel terrible for the people that are in there, but I also don't know what another solution would have been, because you have to cut off the money somewhere because the money fuels the army, and you have to stop the army. You have to find a way to, make sure that they're not wanting to keep going on, make it harder for them. But I don't know of I don't know if there was any better way to do it than what's already been done. And I feel
don't think there
terrible in
is.
saying that.
Well, because, like, what else do we do?
Right. Like, you
That's
have
part
to
of
cut
the
off the
problem.
money.
And that's part of the problem of the age that we live in, is the people who commit the crimes never pay for it.
Right.
It's always everybody else.
I think about that like in school. Like, school is such a prime example of that. Like, the one kid is like talking, or like, I don't know, the one kid does something and then everyone's got to stay in for, recess or something.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's bullshit.
But there is something you can do about the one guy who ruins it for everyone. And right now, person numero uno is Putin. There is the Hex Putin spell that is out there, which I will link to in the show notes, that people are doing.
We were gonna do it, and then our grandfather wound up in the hospital.
Yeah.
Because he's an old ass alcoholic, and then our very my horrific father-in-law, whatever, I don't even want to talk about him, was here for 10 days, I counted, because I had to pick him up from the airport and drop him off at the airport in a snowstorm. Oh my god, this past week and a half is just
combined with the backdrop of Russia. So like the whole time my dad's here, I've been hearing his hot takes on the conflict. It's been
hot racist takes.
Yeah, it's been spicy. To say the least.
So spicy. But like, honestly, it really worked out because he was supposed to stay with us. And I swear, like, Jay's, our grandmother, her spirit is here, and our hot water heater broke that night. Like, it just, a seal just busted, flooded our basement. Not too bad. Thankfully I was able to call my uncle out to fix it real cheap. And but he came over that night and we were downstairs in the basement cleaning up like a flooded basement, and he was like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna go stay at your cousin's place." And we're like, "That sounds great."
Yeah, so because my hot water heater like exploded, he didn't stay here the whole time, so he just kept popping in and out. But it was always in the evening when I was done work. I was like, oh.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't know how we got started on that topic. I'm not.
I have no idea. We're just going wherever the flow takes us.
Yeah, I was gonna segue back to the Putin thing, right? Because everybody wants to curse Putin, but I'm gonna warn all of y'all against it, because Putin has in his employment a man known as Alexander Dugin. Go ahead and give him a Google right now.
I'm gonna need a spelling on that last name.
Alexander You can just type in any Alexander and you'll get it.
Mm-hmm.
Dugin, Dugin.
Oh, okay. So he's an occultist.
He is a known dangerous occultist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, who's
So,
under the
like,
employ of Putin, right?
Mm-hmm.
who's under the direct employ of Putin. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of us are pretty sure he's being used to protect Putin, magically speaking, and also strike out at anybody who strikes at him. So if you're gonna go knocking on Putin's door, magically speaking, you better be fucking layered up in some armor ahead of time, y'all.
Yeah.
Obvi.
Yeah. Ah, that is interesting that this guy would be in his direct employ. So it's like people
Yeah.
know that magic is real, but like we don't talk about it. Is that how it works? Like
Yeah.
everyone
People know. I'll be honest. People have known magic is real for a very long time. Magic is what I call the great equalizer because they can't do shit about it. They can make you think it's not real. They can burn you at the cross for practicing it, but they can't take it away. They can't control it. They
right.
can't pull it from your mind, and it scares the ever living fuck out of them. But also, if everybody can do it and we can do it, you bet your ass they can do it. And you bet your ass the government has like groups studying this shit. And you bet your ass the government like reads the shit that occultists put out to advance their own stuff and their own practices because they actively employ people to do remote viewing and then corroborate the evidence from like other people and shit. Like it's a known practice within government stuff. So like when you look at the information pyramid at the very bottom, people who are completely outside the structure, they're like, magic is real, you know? And then you start getting into the structure and everyone's like, no, that's stupid. Magic isn't real. And for like a solid midsection of the pyramid, it's just magic is bullshit. And you start getting up to the top and it's like, wait, magic's pretty legit. Oh shit, magic is like really legit. And like, that's why there's so many occultists who work at NASA. If you didn't know that was a thing, go look it up. It's true.
No, just think about like if every world leader is aware that magic exists, like is Joe Biden like thumbing through some presidential fucking grimoires right now? Because like
Not necessarily. They can be
No, 'cause
aware
he's
that
an old
magic
white dude.
exists.
he's also a
And also
Catholic.
they can be aware that magic exists and just be absolutely uninspired shits with it and not know how to utilize it. Like not everybody ends up like picking up the craft, right? And for someone to be able to like work in the position of a president, they would not be able to sit down and do all the things constantly that you would need to do to be a court magician, right? That's why typically court magicians get employed by powers, right? Like it's been a thing since like the fucking Middle Ages, hiring a court mage, you know?
I'm envisioning like the
Hello, Merlin. Sorry, what?
No, I was envisioning like the U like so if we assume that every world government knows that magic exists, right? But that maybe they just don't know what to do with it. So like does the US have like a department of magic, like department of occult studies that like we don't
Real
know about?
talk,
We have a
there's a lot of
space
stuff.
force.
There's a lot of stuff that talks about theories around this because we do know that the government has been studying this stuff and that they actively like were working on remote viewing projects way back in the 60s and 70s. Like you've heard about it with the book and the movie called The Men Who Stare at Goats. And wow, I wish Fish was here for this episode because she knows a lot about this stuff.
I know, right?
And like the government actively has been studying and practicing this. And like one of the people on our server sent me declassified CIA documents where they patented a chakra system that lets you walk through fucking walls.
Get the fuck out.
Not even joking. I will
That was on
find it and put it in
Fringe.
the fucking show notes.
What was that on?
Sorry, that was an episode on Fringe.
Ah.
Yeah, there's actual technology. It basically just vibrates the molecules in the walls at hyperspeed so that you can slip in between the molecules.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's technology, but
No, but I really
there's some shit.
Yeah, the thing I have learned, like I guess, like I have been on this sort of journey since December. what I don't know if I don't know if I've actually gotten a chance to talk to you, Omni, about this directly since it's happened. So after I left my job, um, I had I know it's so funny. I didn't want to talk about it because what you were just talking about earlier about how new witches always have drama about like spirits and stuff like that. But I have exactly that.
Yep.
um but it was just something that had been attached to me as long as I could remember since I was a young child probably.
Mhm.
And I finally actually got rid of it after I quit my job and um learning the methods of how to separate, and thanks to Scott, which I wish Scott was here right now. Thanks to Scott learning the methods of separating him, containing him, and banishing him, or just getting rid of them, whatever. Um, but one of the things I've learned, technology, religion, all of that is just they're different methods of just explaining what we can explain, and everybody has their own different methods and their own, and no way is right and no way is wrong, and it's just. And then that's why I wanted to put on the bio on the site was nerds searching for balance, like, because like that's really I that's what I feel is like kind of core.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. Mm.
As I
Yeah.
clear my bowl, don't mind me.
No, that's what we're here to do.
Yeah. It happens a lot, the new mage stuff, but it also is part of the process of developing the mage ego and mage sense of self, and
Right.
the ability to actuate your desires within the world in a tangible sense that isn't just like belief-based magic. Like, and this would also tie into a topic that I wanted to talk about. Modern chaos magic is kind of, it really prizes results based magic, and I can see why, right? Because a lot of magic, it very often can be kind of wishy-washy, and if you're not getting like tangible results, you a lot of people kind of ask like, why aren't you utilizing the scientific method, right? And so that's what a lot of people do try to do sometimes, right? um and it's interesting because sometimes you have people who won't like who won't even utilize that method at all. They don't do results based magic whatsoever. And then you also have people who don't do any type of like mystical pursuit or spiritual practice. And it's like all results based magic and trying to cause conformity and effect. Trying to quote Crowley here and it's failing. Cause
No,
change
you're
and
fine.
conformity. Cause change and conformity with will.
There you
Yes.
go.
But yeah, I don't know. There's like definitely an a weird imbalance of the both in the occult community these days. I feel like people either almost very often results based only, or like super into the whole spiritual side but not necessarily applying any scientific method to it, and that especially applies to new mages, but it's also kind of the whole process of like learning to find oneself too. So it just kind of is what it is, you know.
I think I am firmly in the middle. Like very,
Yeah.
very firmly in the middle when it comes to like strict results based, like I don't know, science magic versus like mystical magic,
Hmm.
if you want to like just break it up into two categories. But like I'm definitely very firmly in the middle because my origin is actually like hugely mystical
Hmm.
in like in its background in nature. And I've only recently started to, I mean, really since we've had the podcast. I keep saying recently, but it's like really we've been doing this podcast for like what, 2 years now?
5 years. No,
5 years? Has it been five
Jay.
fucking years?
Jay, I've been
No,
on the
it's
podcast for like at least 3 years, dude.
yeah, it's been
This is my
the
third year on
podcast
the
started in
podcast.
18, sweetheart. It started 4 years ago.
No, that's 5 years.
It's 2022, 2018.
That's Oh yeah,
4
I'm bad at
years.
math. Yeah, okay.
I was like,
I'm
oh
gay and
god.
can't do math. I'm gay and can't do math.
You're fine.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
There you
But
go.
yeah, so over
Yeah,
the
man.
past 4 years, I've only started to recently like apply a more scientific approach to magic. And I really enjoy the balance of where I'm at, because I've always been this person that's like, okay, like, I look at medical miracles as like a prime example of this. Like, this person is inches from death, and then for no fucking reason, they get amazingly better, and this and that. Sometimes this comes with the stories of like they had a vision, or they went to heaven, or whatever. But you know what? You can't fucking explain that with science. There are just some things that cannot be explained by the scientific method. And so that's where the mystical comes in for me, because I know miracles are real. We hear about them. We see them, you know, we experience them. So that for me is just, that's where the balance comes in. And it took me a while to kind of figure out where I fit in, because I felt like as a more, I guess, like mystical kind of witch, that people didn't take me as seriously. I also found like the people that I wanted to kind of talk to were more like, you know, kind of interested in results-based magic. And so I kind of just started to naturally shift that way. But I really do genuinely enjoy the balance of where I'm at, and I don't feel like, I don't feel swayed in any one particular direction. I just feel really comfortable just being like, you know what, some shit you can't fucking explain.
And some shit you can just say, man, it's fucking magic. I did a spell for it and it worked. What do you think happened?
Right, and that's really just what I would love for all occultists to be able to come together on, is that we're all doing the same fucking thing, and we all have the same fucking goal. So it's like, why can't we just get it the fuck together?
I mean, what do you mean get it together? Like, what would that look like?
Like, maybe not like fucking dragging each other on Twitter for no fucking reason. Every morning when I wake up, I log on to the Witches Betwixt Twitter, and I just peruse. And I see, and I follow, like, if anyone's like pissing me off, I'll unfollow the account. I'm like, I'm not here to follow your bullshit. But so the majority of the people that I follow in there, I'm like, all right, y'all are cool people. And like, some of them are bigger name witches, and like every day they're just talking about like this DM they got, or this stupid comment, or this and that. And like, part of me is like, but it's like every day, like, these people, they get on Twitter and they're like, I'm leaving this website, and I'm like, yeah, you were leaving this website yesterday, and you were leaving this website yesterday, and yet still here you are. Just let it go. And so I've realized, like, the Witches Betwixt social media strategy is, Twitter is now for just shit posting.
As I was like, are you calling me out? Can you see my screen right now? Like, I'm on Twitter. Like, I'm on the Witches Betwixt Twitter, like, literally right now. I was like, shut the fuck up, bitch.
No. So I was like, Twitter is for shit posting, and Facebook and Instagram are just to keep the algorithm gods pleased so people can find us. That is the Witches Betwixt social media strategy.
That's why you're getting selfies of my makeup now. You're welcome. Y'all get to see my beautiful face, because we're literally just digging the barrels for content.
Because it's like this,
like photos a picture
right now.
I can't really take photos right now, because if I'm out of the house, and I'm not right now because it's winter, I'm typically doing it for film. And if I'm taking photos for film, none of that can be disclosed.
I feel that.
When I say taking photos for film, it's like a part of my job. Like, if I do something, I have to take a picture of it to have proof for it, so that if somebody later on tries to fuck me and be like, hey, you said you were going to do this, but you didn't, I can be like, here's a picture.
Haha, sucker.
So aren't smartphones beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've really made our lives a lot easier in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
People can't shift blame the same way that they used to be able to. But yeah, you have definitely seen a shortage of posts that are interesting, because it's winter and it's hard to get out and go do photography with a phone in winter, you know.
No.
But it'll happen again eventually.
Yeah, I've been excited. Actually, at the end of this month, we're going camping, so I am hoping to take advantage. We're gonna have a nature weekend, man versus nature. Because
have you all been camping before?
Yeah. Well, honestly, we're
Okay.
going glamping, to be honest. We just rented a cabin. It's nothing too
Oh,
crazy.
okay, you're not
Yeah.
camping. Yeah, you're
Yeah, I'm not
camping.
camping. I've been camping. I enjoy it. Rusbeck does not.
I unfortunately am not allowed to sleep on the ground anymore, even like air mattress. Like it just even so the campground we've gone once, once now, and we'll be going 2 more times this year. It's south of Harrisburg, and it's honestly we booked the ADA cabin since I have the handicap plate, and it's right at the front of the park, so it's really easy to find. And they have they got air conditioning, they got heating, they got a
Yeah,
full
it's
kitchen.
glamping. It's a hotel in the
It's
woods.
glamping.
Yeah.
But it's in nature, so that's nice.
Yeah, the park's really nice. But yeah, I'm gonna take a ton of pictures when we're out there. I don't know how much will be blooming by the end of the month, so that'll be pretty interesting to see. But I did want to mention that we are a couple minutes over an hour, so I wanted to see if we kind of had any concluding thoughts that we'd want to throw out there before we wrap things up.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Bleh.
No, I don't know. The world's is tough being a person right now, and I'm very sick of this planet. And if I have my choice, I probably might not incarnate here next, given how things go. But we'll see.
Pull like a
Y'all
whole...
are making me very tired.
Yes.
Feel that on a
Humans.
deep feel that on a deep and personal level.
Yes. You know what? That's honestly how I feel too. So I think Sophia, you might have wrapped up everyone's sentiments on the world at large. But yes,
Fucking tired of this shit, man.
and
Fucking
you know
how
what?
many meltdowns and how many bullshits in like 20 years? The world needs new management.
Yes, yes, I completely agree. And you know, if you out there listening to this podcast, I'm sure you also completely agree, and I'm sure that you also are feeling the same level of burnout, of bullshit, of all this kind of stuff. And well, we're feeling it too. You're not alone, and we're just gonna get through it all together. But for now, we are going to sign off, do some self-care. Self-care. No, but for real, we're gonna sign off, chill, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye. Woo.